So Jim Sprankel, volunteer at the J. N. Ding Darling National Wildlife Refuge. We had to take your interview under the stair here because look at the pouring rain.
Yeah, and you wanted me to
I
stand
know.
out in the
I
rain.
kept saying it was so mean. I kept saying, "Back up, Jim, back up," and he didn't fall for it. You're a smart one. So what we are doing with tourism too is how much value refuges have in the local community. So what do you want to share about that?
I think the community, I don't think there's any secret that a big, huge percentage of people come across that causeway are coming to Ding Darling, the refuge. I mean, we have maybe 1 million people go through the drive, and sometimes 500,000 go through the education center, the visitor center. And I just think it's a very, very important part of this island and for nature itself. I mean, the education that the kids get here is incredible. I mean, we travel all over the state educating, the younger generation. And I have a sort of an interesting, cute story. Our son we raised here. We've been here 27 years. And we raised him in this little grade school next door. And at that time, they didn't have an education center. So they would take the kids from the little school through the drive once a week. And I'll never forget. And it just got me really thinking. He came home and he was all excited. He said, Dad, did you know there's 3 different types of mango trees? And each week that they would go through and he'd come home, he'd have some interesting story to tell about Ding Darling and who he was and all this. So I said, wow, I've got to get involved because this is very important to the younger generation.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, isn't it amazing how the little spark of interest can... I've talked to people that become biologists because of what they learned as a kid. A seed is planted. And also, if they can't see it, they don't know it's there.
That's right.
If they don't know it, then they can't protect it. So that's the hope is these kids will grow up and also influence their parents. Kids are great influencers.
I volunteer up here twice a week. And I really look forward to coming up here for my 4 hours because I'm talking to people basically that have the same interests I have. Or most of them wouldn't be here if they weren't interested in wildlife or conservation. And it's a real thrill for me to come up here. And the people, it just seems like so many of them walk out that door and they're just chattering about, did you see this? Did you see that? And it makes you really feel good that you're helping the community.